Hey guys, it's Cal here. So some of you have sort of asked me, how did I get into coaching, or how did I know that I wanted to become a life coach? I think where it really started was this one day where I sat down and for some reason I just decided I wrote a whole list of things that I love doing, I like doing, that interested me, that I was good at, and that I wanted to do. And then next to that line, next to that word or that activity, I'd write what it was about that activity that was really important to me or that really lit me up. And I think through doing that exercise, I had this like massive epiphany of so many things had happened in my life up until that point where I thought I liked it because of the activity at face value. So for example, law school. I thought I wanted to be a lawyer because I love presenting. And so I attributed presenting to becoming a litigator. And so through doing that exercise, it made me realize that so many things had happened that I thought I'd love, but it was for a completely different reason. But by the same token, doing the exercise gave me so much clarity around the commonalities between all those activities that really lit me up. So, and I guess where it really started from was all the way back in like year 10 when I was working at Gloria Jeans for work experience. It was fast-paced, it was hospitality, and I just loved talking to customers. And I remember this one day where after my shift, my manager Ali, he just hugged me after the shift and he was like, "Cal, you're always so smiley, it's so good to have you." And I was just like, okay, isn't this my job? But I didn't really think much of it. After that, I worked at Optus for my parents, and that was in a sales rep role. And that was really fun and it was really challenging as well because every customer was different. You had to spend a pretty lengthy period of time with each customer. So sometimes it was like up to 2 hours with a customer. And it was not just trying to sell them something. I actually found that there were moments where, because my manager would say, "Hey, we've got heaps of this phone left over, try and push this phone today." And part of me felt so conflicted and incongruent because I was trying to force something that a customer didn't necessarily want. But I felt a lot better where we had heaps of stock and I could really just sell anything and it was really based on what they needed and what they wanted. So it was understanding their usage patterns, their lifestyle, their family, their work, all of those things, and then giving them something that was really of value to them, that would really help improve and make their lives just so much easier, more convenient. That was really fulfilling. And even better than that, I remember like I got a mystery shop review where it was like client that was amazing. She was so thorough, so inquisitive about the whole experience, about my needs. I definitely come back next time, and I was just like, yes! It was really, really awesome. Yeah, I guess it was sales, something that was really challenging, understanding how people think and feel, what their needs are, what's important to them, and then giving them a solution that really solves that need. To me, that's fulfillment, being able to make people's lives easier. And then after Optus, I worked at NAB as a teller, and that was really fun. Again, lots of customer interaction, fast paced, and I don't think I necessarily loved it as much as Optus. I loved NAB because the team was awesome, but there was kind of a connection missing because the nature of my work is very transactional. Deposits, withdrawals, creating bank checks, not a lot of time to have a conversation with someone. And there were moments where I had to upsell super and I'd had to get to understand whether it was appropriate for them, and that was really exciting because it was like, oh, I wonder if they need it. But again, part of me felt conflicted because we were trying to hit sales. And so almost every customer, even if it was like an 18-year-old, I'm like asking them, "Have you considered your super?" And it didn't feel natural. After NAB, well, throughout that time when I was at uni, I also participated in heaps of law competitions. So there was like negotiation, court trials, trial practice and advocacy, client interview. And what I loved about those was being able to get up in front of an audience, whether it be 2 people or 10, 50. I mean, for the moot, we got through to the grand final. I still can't believe it, but being able to just confidently stand up in front of an audience and just present them a case that was logical, methodical, made sense, persuasive, and being able to like interpret and create a story for someone and take them on a journey, that was really cool. And it's funny that after that grand final, I was like, I want to be a litigator, not realizing that is not what lawyers do 80-90% of the time. Towards the end of law school, where you had to start applying for job applications. Ironically, what I loved about that whole process was the interviewing process. So writing the job app and going for interviews, and actually the networking nights and the schmoozing. And everyone else hated that. They were like, oh my gosh, not another one. I'm so over this. This is so draining. But that interviewing process, for the first time, actually got me thinking about questions like, what do you have to add to the organization? What are your strengths? What are your key attributes? And these are things that I'd never even considered before, and I had to really think about it. And it got me thinking, well, I love teamwork. I love problem solving. I love talking and understanding how people think and feel and why they do what they do, and actually delivering a solution that's of value to a customer. They're things that really just I thrive on and I really enjoy doing. And then the schmoozing, it was like understanding people's stories, what their journey's been like, how they've incorporated work into their everyday life, and how they came to become interested in the law. And it's really funny, I remember one of my law interviews, they asked me, so why corporate law? And seriously, at the time, I was like, I have the best answer for this. And I was like, well, simple, really, for 2 reasons. 1, I want to work in a team-based environment. And 2, I want to work amongst highly motivated, ambitious, intelligent individuals. And and the look on the lawyers' faces, that were kind of just like, does she know she's applied for a law firm? Like, I remember looking at them and I was like, thinking, dude, I just gave you the best answer. Why are you not sold? Why do you look so confused? And I think in hindsight, maybe a year, 2 years later, I realized, well, duh, because like the energy I was giving off, and me talking about team-based and all that, and being a people-based environment, it's not the core of what they do. It's obviously they're a people service, but they do a lot of, legal research, a lot of transactional documentation, a lot of that stuff. And I think they thought that I was just in the wrong place. And I got that feeling again when I applied to Accenture, a consulting firm. And seriously, that was my favorite interview. I just felt so confident because by that stage, I'd done a bit of personal development. I knew what I wanted to do. I went in there and she's like, so why consulting? And I'm like, well, what do you want to do with your career? And I'm like, I want to inspire people to be the best versions of themselves. I want people to do what they love. I want to be able to encourage people to, go beyond their fears. And I actually got called back for a second round interview because they were like, we weren't totally sold on your first one, whether this was the right place for you. And that was, to me, feedback, Cal, it's probably not the right place for you. That's probably why they're questioning whether you're a good fit. After law school, decided, okay, after 3 clerkships and working at an accounting firm, I decided this is not the place for me. I spent 9 months after that working for my family in a gelato business. And so it's our own family startup. And I was the HR and store manager for that. And that was probably one of my favorite jobs to date. I got to, my job was to train team members to engage with customers pretty much, and how to scoop gelato and have a conversation with a customer all at the same time, and be really engaging and take them on a journey. I think what I found really fulfilling about that was being able to help them improve their self-confidence. I mean, we had kids who were ranging from 16 to 23 coming in, and I remember this one time, Leon, who is originally, when I met him, really timid, shy kid, and the most beautiful heart. And just one night, he said to me, he's like, Cal, and it was our Friday night service, so one of our busiest nights. He was like, Cal, can I serve customers tonight? And I was like, really? He's like, yeah, I really love being on pause. And I was like, yes, of course you can. And it was just being able to see his transformation. And in his goodbye, when he left the company, he sent us this thank you card, thanking my whole family. And what he said was, he was just like, Cal, you know, thank you so much for everything that you've taught me. I am so much more confident now. And I still get teary when I think about that, because it's just, it's an awesome, surreal feeling. Oh my gosh, I'm getting teary now. It's a really surreal feeling being able to empower someone to be able to do that. Because lack of self-confidence holds so many people back, and a sense of fear of being rejected, of being judged. It holds a lot of people back. So for me, that was really, really fulfilling. Through doing that exercise, writing my diary of all these things that lit me up, all these things started coming out. It was, I love talking to people. I love connecting with people. I love public speaking. I love being really creative. I love being active, moving. Like, there were things like, you know, my body combat classes. I love going to them because the instructor, my two favorite, Anastasia and Peter, this infectious energy about them up on stage. They managed to just transform a room and get everyone energetic and just into the workout. And I was like, I want to be able to do this. And then I went on to, like, you know, I went to San Francisco twice to see a motivational speaker present on stage, and he'd come onto stage with Black Eyed Peas playing, and he's like running down the aisle and slapping everyone high fives, and he got everyone bouncing, and everyone was just ecstatic. And I'm like, I want to be able to share that, and be able to share that energy and empower and inspire people in the same way, to get them as excited about life as he is. So I started considering maybe I could be a motivational speaker, and so I started doing my research and figuring out, okay, what has he done so Brendan Bashard, what has he done in his journey of 19 years getting to where he is today? What has he done to get him to that stage? And I was like, well, he's done some coaching. And so that's how I decided to leave my corporate 9-to-5 at Coles as a graduate, eventually moving into signing up to the Coaching Institute based in Melbourne. And now I coach full-time, setting up my own business. I've coached pro bono and paying clients now. And my job is to listen to people, get really curious, asking them loads of challenging questions, actually understanding what their goals are, what their visions are, helping them create that, and then helping them to overcome their fears and move towards that. That's my job on a daily basis now, which is just the best intersection of what I love doing, what I'm good at, and what I can get paid for in a career sense. So yeah, that's actually how I got into coaching. If you've got any questions around coaching or my journey, or you're just curious about something and you want to ask it, feel free to leave a comment below, or send me an email to ask@kalanthachan.com, and like this video if you found it helpful. I am here to serve. So get curious, and remember, live generously, eat to fuel your passion, move. Life belongs to the energetic, and laugh a lot with those you love. See you next time. Thanks, guys.